Meanwhile, speaking of those Tea Partiers teeing off on establishment candidates already toppling a top Republican senator in Utah, my next guest is running against a Tea Party favorite in the Republican Senate race in Kentucky. The primary a week from today. We had Rand Paul on yesterday, Trey Grayson today. Trey, good to have you.
Thanks, glad to be with you.
Do you think Tea Partiers are dividing conservatives?
I think the Tea Party movement is good for conservatism. It keeps us honest, it keeps us accountable, especially on the spending issue. And I'm really proud of the Tea Party support that I've gotten in my race. So I think it's a very good thing to hold us accountable on the #1 issue, which is getting our fiscal house in order.
Well, do you worry, and I raised this with your opponent, Rand Paul, that it does divide sort of the Democratic strategy of conquer and divide the Republicans, period?
Well, I think we as a party have to make sure that we do is we nominate the candidates that are not only the ones that most represent the party and its views, but also candidates that hopefully are the most electable. And I think in many cases you can find the right middle ground, the sweet spot, if you will, for those candidates that are true conservatives and who are the most electable. And I think in Kentucky, I represent that candidate.
Well, so let me ask you this. If there were another financial bailout to pass, to come up to you, and you got in there, would you reject it?
Yes, I would. Something that I've been very loudly and proudly stating throughout this campaign, that I thought the first bailout was a mistake. I'm really worried about this financial reform package that's been going through because many of the features seem to institutionalize the notion of a bailout.
Well, would there be any conditions?
I don't support any more bailouts.
I'm sorry, but there would be any condition of which you would entertain one? If we were in the middle of a meltdown, or the fear was if you didn't, there'd be hell to pay.
I can't envision one right now, Neil. No.
What about a country going under?
Is it the country of the United States of America, or is it Greece? I mean, if it's
so Greece, you'd say no.
Yeah, but the problem is that we created moral hazard. We created incentives for these bankers and other financial institutions to take risks where they think they can profit from the payoff of those risks.
Right.
But then they privatize the pain, if you will, that we the taxpayers then have to pay the burden. And I think it was a terrible precedent that we set, and we shouldn't do it again.
I just want to be clear. Are there some countries in your eyes, it's not Greece, certainly you'd maybe think twice about doing that to the U.S., that are too important to you to fail? If it were England, if it were Spain, what would you do?
Well, it's, as you're going up the line of gross domestic products to bigger countries, you're talking about countries being too big to fail. That's a very different notion than the too big to fail or the bailout notion of companies in our economy as a whole. I think that there's the World Bank, there's the IMF, there's things like that are out there that can help some of those bigger countries that are out there. But I think as far as America goes and American companies, I wouldn't support any bailouts.
All right, Trey Grayson, thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil.